Gentlemen, please, there's nothing to worry about. This special project I'm working on can be the help we need, the thing we need to get rid of those STARS members once and for all. Now, yes, it may sound a little crazy for just taking a tyrant and making it better, but there could be more to it. You can make it stronger, faster, anything. And oh, I see my guests have arrived. Ignore that. That's nothing. You know, it's just new medicine we're working on. Yes. Here at Umbrella, new medicine. Trust me, it's nothing to worry about, and nothing at all. No, what's going on, Raccoon City? Don't worry. You're fine. Now down to the nitty gritty. What was going on with Resident Evil 3? The game itself started strong. I mean, it ropes you in right off the bat. The news report at the beginning is just like, hey, you know, some strange stuff's going on, and maybe we should be worried. Maybe we shouldn't. Who knows? You know, it's just nothing, you know. And then from there, it goes straight from a news report to first-person view as Jill. And it was good to see them take a character we've only seen once and bring her back. Now, I know it's a remake, so we all know the story, yada yada, but I don't care. But her dream itself was the biggest catch of them all. Like, it was showing the true effects. It was almost like a PTSD, the true effects of what was happening, or what had happened to her. Because, like, you get Leon, who's, you know, he went through this nightmare, his first day as a cop, and then he gets picked up by the government, and from there he works for them. But they don't really show the side effects. They don't show, like, the nightmares he's faced. I mean, yes, in one of the movies, one of the capture motion movies, on his free time, he's a heavy drinker of sorts. So, I mean, yeah, that he's dealing with it himself. But we really don't see the real effects. Whereas with Jill, the game starts off strong. She has a nightmare that she gets turned into one of those things, and yet she trucks on. She pushes forward. She tries to escape the city, etc., etc. However, but like, so the game was good. It was great. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. I know I was. However, I feel like there's ups and downs in the game. My biggest one was, yes, I go around and say, oh, I'm the worst Resident Evil player there is, yada yada yada. That's more of for fun. I mean, yes, I'm not the best at those games, but it's for fun. It's more of a fun thing that I do to get people's attention. I will say I did kind of. It was good and bad. Like, I felt like my playing ability was insulted because, like, I died twice, and it's like, do you want to play on assisted mode? No, not really. But seeing as how even in the demo, I couldn't take down Nemesis, I felt it kind of added to that whole shtick that I got going on. So I mean, that's not really a complaint. That's more of I feel like they knew what they're doing, and it did its purpose. It served its purpose, which is great. Which is great. But I feel like at the same time, asking me only after dying twice, or maybe it was 3 times, it doesn't matter. After only dying a couple times, asking if I'm playing assisted. Whereas with 2, I played the entire game for the most part before it asked me, "Oh, would you like to play on assisted mode?" So in a way, I felt a little insulted, but at the same time, I didn't really care because I was gonna enjoy the game regardless. It was hard to do certain puzzles and get certain items, which I overlooked a lot of items. I know for a fact that I did. But at the same time, with you can't even go 2 steps and boom, Nemesis is there. You run from him, boom, he got a hold of you. Move forward, boom, you know, you're dead, whatever. More on that later, but still. The dodge mechanic was nice. You know, dodge. At the same time, I feel like it, it defeated it was a nice mechanic. Yeah, you could dodge and you could counterattack, which I didn't learn until after I beat the game, that you could counterattack. Probably should have read the loading screens. And that's on me. And I saw other people do it. I watched other people's playthroughs to see what I missed, whatever. But one thing I didn't like is like when a zombie grabbed you and it told you, press this button, press this button, press this button, press this button, and you said you button mash, basically like tap it as hard as you can, making that face. It didn't do anything. You still got bit. I mean, yeah, you still pushed on foot. You still got bit. You still got caught. It defeated the purpose. There was no point to it being in the game when it didn't serve its purpose. I mean, it was nice, but at the same, it was a nice mechanic and the concept was nice and everything. However, putting it in there and then it not really doing anything, it defeats the purpose of having it. I felt like it was there to ease your mind, but it didn't really do anything. However, it was interesting to see the other side of Raccoon City. That's the other half of the city that we didn't get to see playing as Leon and Claire in 2. But at the same time, that kind of goes to the question: how did Claire and Leon, and then Jill and Carlos, never cross paths? Because I mean, yeah, technically 2 takes place after they do everything in the actual city in 3, but the police station, I mean, they should have crossed paths there. Brandon, where did he go? Sorry. Their paths never crossed, even though like half these locations are the same. Certain locations, like, and it's like, how did you not notice? How did you not hear explosions? How did you not, hear people screaming? How did you not see Nemesis jump clear across the city to go get Jill? How did you not know any of this was going on? And there were two tyrants running through the city, Nemesis and Mr. X. So, I guess off screen, which would have been cool to see, but off screen those two met and they fought, but you don't see any like changes in their appearance, like, because they have at least done something. And how was there no reference to, like I said, there's no reference to either side of what was going on, what had happened. No radio frequencies, no nothing, no sign of Umbrella, until you got deeper into the hive or the lab, whatever you want to call it. There were elevators to get them out on both sides, basically in the same place, just different entrances. How did they not cross paths? But I did notice a small plot hole. I did some looking up, some reading. I could have read it wrong, so I could be wrong. You could just say, "Can't English, David." Carlos shot Brad Vickers, his zombie, in the head. But if you play as Claire, she kills zombie him. So there can't be 2 zombie Brad Vickers. So unless she found the body, but it was right in front of the entrance, so Leon should have seen it, Claire should have seen it. So there's a small plot hole there. If anything, Joe should have put a bullet in his head to, come full circle or something. But once again, small plot hole. Paths should have crossed at some point, or some reference to the other. The handgun itself. Speaking of bullets, the handgun itself was a weak weapon. I mean, you can take a machine gun, pop, a couple times in the skull, boom, zombie drop. Shotgun, 1 shot to the head, right range, end all be all. And then I felt it was weak. Whereas they portray the handgun in Resident Evil as one of the strongest weapons you can get against a zombie horde. So it makes it kind of hard to get behind that. And one question I was asking myself as I was playing the game: did anyone else survive the nuking of Raccoon City? Like, aside from Jill and Carlos, of course, and aside from Leon, Claire, and Sherry. Like, did anybody else survive? Like, was there anybody else hidden there? Somebody hidden in a fridge somewhere, and after it was over, they're just like, oh, look at this, Raccoon City's gone, but I'm free. And you'll walk on and, go to Nut House or something. They brought back the Hunters, or the Giant Frogs, my worst enemy in the Resident Evil games, apparently, and the Zombie Dogs. The Zombie Dogs were right at the beginning. It was nice to see these callbacks. But from there, okay, then closer to the end, when you fight Nikolai, or when you hunt down Nikolai. But other than that, there weren't that many of them. I mean, yeah, there were probably some police dogs, and that's probably what they were. But it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose of bringing back the enemy, because we never see them again after this. At least I don't think so. I haven't played 5 and 6, so I can't say for sure. But essentially, they're not seen or heard from again. It's not really a tool that they're probably going to utilize. So it almost defeats the purpose, because okay, yeah, here's a small callback, but nothing else, And same with the Hunters. They basically brought them back in the last half hour of the game, or hour, whatever, depending on how you look at it and depending on how long it took you to get there. So the last hour, they brought back the Hunters, and it was kind of pointless. And it's what purpose do they serve? Because you don't really see, hair or hide of them in 2. They were in 1, but that was expected because they were running all sorts of wacky experiments on animals and everything else. And same with 0. But what purpose do they serve in 3? But the UBCS had I know I'm jumping forward, but the UBCS was an interesting concept, because they're Umbrella, and some of them knew Umbrella did this. Some of them didn't know, like Carlos. Carlos was in the dark about it all. But it was interesting because Umbrella did this, and then they sent in their own people to clean up the mess. And I mean, that's probably to make them look good, make them look like the heroes or whatever of Raccoon City. But at the same time, it seems almost ironic. You would think they'd be a little more discreet than oh, here's our task force, clean up the mess, kill anyone who's in your way. And then of course, speaking of the last hour and everything, the mag gun. I couldn't find it. I didn't even bother to go get it. I didn't need it. I obviously, if you watch my playthrough, I didn't need it. Could I have used it? Probably. I don't know. I don't care. But I didn't need it per se. Yeah, I found some ammo. I stored it. But it seemed rather pointless to go get it when I was basically in the home stretch of the game. It was basically pointless to have a handgun when I got the regular Glock and then the one with the extended mag. I mean, why would I need the mag? Why would I need the MAG, handgun, or mag, whatever you want to call it? And then, of course, speaking of that, I felt like there was more ammo and more ammo crafting than there was in Resident Evil 2. And 1 for that matter. But there was more ammo in 3. You go around, and I don't think it was the fact of me playing an assistant. Because like I said, I watched other people play on harder modes and not give in so soon. And there was so much ammo everywhere. But it was interesting because there was more ammo and less use for it. Whereas in 2, there was less ammo and more of a need for it. Either that or I'm still just a horrible shot. However, I don't like those odds. The knife itself was nice because it didn't break. You only needed 1. And really, its only use was to destroy boxes. And I just took a handgun, pop, pop, because I was finding ammo everywhere. So I didn't really need the knife. I held on to it because you never know when you're going to need a hack and slash because you ran out of ammo. That's what I was afraid of doing because I always do that. And of course, like I said, I missed items. Man, my thoughts are all over the place with this. When I started the train, when you do this train station part, or start up the train and everything, get the power running, those creepy, crawly bug things that dropped parasites in you by just entering the mouth. I didn't understand the concept and the use of that. The reasoning is they'd be beaten with a green herb. Okay, that's fine. It's healthy, it's supposed to help you, whatever. Just choke it down and spit them out. But you never see those enemies again. Thankfully, but you never see those enemies again. And it seems almost utterly pointless to have them in. Like, they serve no purpose. Like, their purpose is pointless. Like, they don't need to exist in the game. Like, they didn't need to be there. We already had the giant frogs. We've had giant bugs in the past. It didn't really do anything. And then, fast forward, plays Carlos, which was fun. It was fun because he's a great supporting character. There was you could tell there was a lot more to him than what we were seeing. The only thing is, I wish we could have gotten to play as him a little more, as well as I wish we had more of a backstory. All we know is he works for the UCB, so whatever it is, whatever Umbrella's task force is that he's a part of. It's like, how did he join them? Was he military? Was he a cop? Was he, who was he? And I wish and who knows, they may even say, well, we need more of Carlos in here, so here's a fun little backstory DLC. Here's this, here's that, I wouldn't buy that. Even if it's like a 10-minute thing, of like a 10-minute video or 5-minute video and 5 minutes playing as Carlos, it'd be nice to see more of his backstory. Speaking of him, then we switch over to the fun enemy who everyone loves, Nemesis. He was a good enemy. He was a good antagonist. Good antagonist. And, I mean, he was aggravating. He was very difficult to take down. He didn't die. Well, he died, but it took an entire game. But at the same time, I felt like he was in the game a little too much. It seemed like he right off the bat, you start the game, he storms through Jill's wall and basically tries to kill her and spends the entire game trying to kill her, which is fine. That's his concept. That's his purpose. However, I felt like he was in the game too much. It's like you want people to go around the corner and be like, oh crap, is he gonna be right there? Is he gonna grab my face and rip it off? Or what? But you want him to show up when you least expect it. Because like in a game like this, you're gonna walk around the corner and expect him to be there. And if he's there, you're still gonna get scared. But then you're gonna be like, oh heck no, you're gonna run the other way. I just felt he was in the game too much because like every 10 seconds he was right there. And it's like, okay, yes, your purpose is to kill Jill. But you're gonna run into her again, so what's the point of showing up every 10 seconds? Like, his appearance is necessary, but it was too much. It was too much. Yeah, his purpose was to kill the members of STARS, but at the same time, it's like, it felt like too much. That's really my only thing. That's my only complaint. Yeah, at the end it was satisfying, run him down with a railgun. It went through him and you basically decimated an entire building and probably killed a bunch of workers in the process. So, I mean, it was a satisfying end to Nemesis. But at the same time, leading up to it, I felt a little, he overstayed his welcome. Speaking of the end, it was nice because he got to shoot Nikolai for what he did, and it felt satisfying, but I'm also unsure if justice was served, so to speak, or even, like, if it was a satisfying thing, if it was served or whatever, because it's like, okay, yeah, you shot him. Yeah, he's not dead, and he's gonna die when, the U.S. government nukes Raccoon City, but it didn't feel 100% satisfying. But, just like that whole end sequence was was great because the final boss fight, even though I have my issues with Nemesis, was fun. His final form was terrifying. I mean, because like you imagine, like walking down the street, you see that thing, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go this way now, and you're gonna run from it. You're not gonna think to fight. So, and the biggest, like killing him with the railgun was satisfying. It makes sense. Like when Jill got the vaccine made, everything's like, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna work. It made sense the vaccine was destroyed. It was still upsetting because you go through all that trying to get it, and yet it's still destroyed. Like I said, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, what purpose did that serve? You know, so it's like, I'm kind of torn there. It's like, should that have been there? Should it have not? You know, because they've done something else, and it still mean the same thing. Joe could have still shot Nikolai without him destroying the vaccine. You know, but at the same time, that kind of ties into my final thought, is like, does the end clip where she picks it up, like it's just a quick like 2-second thing. She walks over, picks up the busted vial, and walks off. Like, does it signal her mission to destroy Umbrella? Is like a symbol of thing? Is there deeper meaning? Or did she just pick it up and say, I don't want this anymore, I'm going to throw it in the trash? I mean, it leaves open-ended. It leaves that imagination to see what's next. It gives you that wanting for more. But if I remember correctly, we don't see Jill again until 5, and who knows what they do. They may do a remake of 4, 5, and 6. They may do not. They may just do another game. I'm not sure. But my final synopsis for this game, it was great from start to finish. Yeah, it had its moments where it was but at the same time, it seemed too short. I mean, it seemed fitting, but it seemed too short. I mean, I beat the game in like, what, 4, 5 hours tops. Resident Evil 2, it took me longer. I didn't even finish out. But I just felt it was too short. It did provide a good challenge. It did provide that challenge that I was looking for to get me by until the next one comes along. Like if I were to grade this game, I'd maybe say B- or B+ to A-, somewhere in that range, like an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. If we were to grade this on a scale out of 10, 8.5 to 9 out of 10. The reason being, you know, like I said, the little complaints, too much of Nemesis. You know, the thing like with the vial, it seemed unnecessary. It was symbolic, but it seemed unnecessary. You know, and yeah, I missed items, so part of that could be at my own discretion. But at the same time, don't take what I say to heart and be like, oh, the game's great or the game sucks because one person or someone just says, oh, I don't, it's not for me. Me, I love the franchise. It's probably a great addition. You know, I can't wait for what they do next. Hopefully, they do something next. Whether it's a Resident Evil 4 remake, since they're on the kick of remakes, or if it's or like Resident Evil 8, or even some like side story game. Like, it's like, oh, what has, you know, so like for example, if you ever played Darkside Chronicles on the Wii, it had Resident Evil 2, I think Resident Evil 1, and then some side story that involved Leon that took place after 3 but before 4, and explains how he met Jack Krauser, who he fights in 4. So it's like something like that too would be cool as well. So I can't wait to see what they do next. Personally, I would recommend the game. I would recommend you somebody play it or watch somebody play it, because who knows, you might watch somebody play it and be like, this game's not for me, and you're not wasting that money. I think that's everything. But, you know, like I said, who knows? Make sure I don't see anything here. I just can't wait to see what Capcom does next. Even if it's another couple years before the next, like, Resident Evil game. Who knows? They might wait 5 years to do a remake of 4, because 4 is only, like, 5 years old. Or, not 5, 15 years old. So, we'll just have to wait and see. So, that is my thoughts, my opinion, my review, if you will, of Resident Evil 3. I enjoyed the game. I hope you all enjoyed the playthrough that I did. I hope, you know, if I forgot something, if I skipped something, comment. Leave a comment or say something like, hey, you know, what about this, this, and this, you know, and I could always do another short video and touch on whatever I missed. But like I said, I give this game like a good solid B plus, A minus, somewhere in that ballpark. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. And I cannot wait to see what happens next, what I do next, what I play next. I have a few ideas, I have a few things lined up. I'm getting suggestions from people left and right. Certain things will just be short little snippet videos. Others will be full playthroughs. I'm not sure. But until then, I will see you guys